Just to launch John Minto's candidacy as the Mana Movement candidate for Manukau East. We're launching it here in Otara because this is the heartland of the Manukau East electorate.
Excellent, excellent. And the choice of John Minto was...
Yeah, well, that was quite surprising. I mean, John Minto, well known nationally and internationally, could have had his pick of electorates, but he chose to come here because he's taught here for 12 years and he's seen the way in which a system can crush people even before they get out of school, so that their options are limited straight away. So he wanted to come and do something about it. He doesn't like the fact that the current MP doesn't do much for this electorate, so he wants to do what he can to try and lift the hopes and spirits of the people of Otara.
The church is called Otara.
I'm really proud to be here in Otara.
Otara is the name of the body. The body is the street. The body is on the corner of Ferguson and Bond Street here in Otara. Our meetings are on Monday night. Monday night at 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. So no my,
taking the vote for granted.
I'll put the shout out again. Mana Otara. We have our meetings here in Otara, Ferguson Road.
So we're going to bring real fighters in the community. Excellent.
We need helpers.
John's got the pick of any electorate he might want to stand in the whole of Auckland. He could have stood in Epsom, he could have stood in Mount Roskill, he could have stood in Remuera, he could have stood anywhere in Auckland. So he said to him, where do you want to stand, John? He said, I want to stand out here in Otara. He said, I want to stand out here because the guy who currently holds this seat has been in Parliament for 20 years, eating his bloody lunch and bugger all else. He wants to stand because at least when he gets up to say something, everybody already knows who he is. And when he says he's going to fight for something, everybody knows he's going to do it. And when he says he wants to stand up and do things for this community, everybody knows that he will do just that. Now, he's not your big, hunky, 110 kg kind of a Polynesian like the rest of us. He's a scrawny little pugger. But any scrawny little pugger who's willing to stand up against the police in this country day after day after day, getting put into hospital every afternoon, and be back on the front lines the next day, is the kind of pugger that I'm comfortable standing alongside me. So everybody, that's all I've got to say. Homai te paki paki, everybody needs a Minto. This is a Minto moment. John Minto!
Enga mana, enga reo, enga tangata whenua o tēnei rohi, enga iwi o te motu, tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. Well, thank you very much, Honi, for that introduction. I do have very fond memories of Otara, and I've visited here as often as I can over the years. I did teach here for 12 years at those schools, and I've run into some people this morning who I have taught when I was here at Hillary College back in the 1980s. And some of the people from the Board of Trustees of Hillary at that time, who are still on the Board of Trustees here today. So I'm really proud to be here. I'm very proud to be representing this community, and I am very humbled that this community have given me their backing to go for mana on their behalf. So thank you very much to the local community. Give all the local community a big round of applause, people. Give yourselves a round of applause. Shut up. I've never joined a political party ever in my life until the 19th of May this year. On the 19th of May, I joined Mana because for the first time, the very first time in my life, I saw a political party that had the policies that were going to make a big difference for New Zealand. Mana is a Māori-inspired party, it's a Māori-led party, but it's got policies for the whole country, it's got policies for the whole of Otara, it's got policies for the whole of Manukau East, it's got policies for the whole of New Zealand to make this country a far better place. And so right around the country, right around Manukau East, this is the message that I'm bringing. What does it say? Party vote mana. As Tony said, when you go into the polling booth, don't be dissuaded from voting for mana. Vote for what you believe in, not what you fear. Vote for what you believe in. Okay, what is mana going to do for you, for the people of Otara? Well, mana is going to cut income tax for people here. People will be able to earn up to $27,000 and not pay income tax on it. And that means more than $100 in the pocket of every working person in Otara immediately. Secondly, mana is going to abolish GST. GST is going off everything. We're not going to have GST. GST is a tax on low incomes. We're sick of the taxes on low incomes. We want taxes on the people who don't earn the money they get. And those people are the wealthy New Zealanders. Last year, 150 people in New Zealand got an increase in their wealth of $7 billion. Just 150 people, a smaller number than the people around here. They got $7 billion. Did they earn it? No. Do they deserve it? No. But the whole system is set up to make a tiny number of people like them rich and the rest of us on struggle street. So, for the last 27 years, we've had Labour representing this community. The last 27 years, Labour has represented it. And in those 27 years, Labour has been in power for 15 years, and National's been in power for 12 years. So what I'm saying, in the time that this community and the rest of our low-income areas of New Zealand have gone backwards, Labour has been in power more than National. Labour is the main part of the problem that's facing low-income areas like this. Labour has delivered nothing but unrelenting hardship. They have taken the votes of Otara for granted for a long time. They just take those votes, they stick them in their back pocket, they go into Parliament, they eat their lunch, and they vote for just about every dirty deal that has brought hardship to these communities. Who brought in GST? Who started GST? Phil Goff started GST. Who did the first increase in GST? Labour, Phil Goff. National's just coming in and putting it up by 2.5%. Of course that's bad, but Labour introduced GST. Who was the person in Parliament who sat round the table in the 1980s while we sold most of our assets? Who sat round the table while Labour sold most of our assets? Phil Goff sat round the table. That's when the big asset sales occurred. If you look at every major policy that's been introduced that has pushed the poor backwards, that has pushed low-income communities into the ground, they were introduced by Labour, and Labour has been enforcing them for 15 of the last 27 years. So my message to the people of Otara and the people of Manukau East is that Labour is part of the problem. Yes, I know they've got a huge majority here. Ross Robertson's got a huge majority. But in meetings I've been to, people don't know who Ross Robertson is. He's the invisible man. He's a man you never see anywhere except walking out of the caucus room occasionally. He's gone to Parliament, pocketed the votes of the people here, but not represented the people. I'm telling you, the people of Otara, if you vote for me, you'll get a bloody fighter in Parliament. You won't get someone there to eat their bloody lunch. So we need fighters in Parliament. We've got one fighter in Parliament at the moment. We've got Honi. Let's have a big round of applause for Honi. And there's going to be more fighters in Parliament on the side of mana, which is on the side of the people after the November 26 election. And I've got a big message here for the Pacifica community, because this electorate, Manukau East, almost half of Manukau East are Pacifica people. And we've got the messages that we're bringing about people in low-income communities apply to Pacifica and Pākehā and Asian across the board. Dropping income tax, getting rid of GST, shifting taxes onto those who haven't earned the money they've got. Shift the taxes onto the wealthy instead of putting the taxes onto the poor. So dramatic changes there. And for the Pacifica community, Two things. You might remember back in 1982 when the national government brought in legislation to strip Samoan citizens of New Zealand of their rights to citizenship. And Labour backed them up. And what we're saying to the Samoan community, that law needs to be abolished. And so those people who had New Zealand citizenship and their descendants, they deserve the right to citizenship without having Labour and National interfering with it. And another message for the Pacifica community, which we'll be taking around over the next 2 months. The Pacifica community are discriminated against in immigration. New Zealand is a South Pacific country. We're a South Pacific country. But people from Australia pour in here, get jobs, go home, they come and go as they please. But the people from the Pacific don't have that right. And we're saying that we believe the people, and it applies particularly to Tongan and Samoan, that those people have the right to move into New Zealand and come and go as they please. And at times back in the 1980s, there are times when Pacifica people more have left the country, when times were tough, and then come back when they were able to get jobs. We should have that same dynamic for the Pacific that we have for Australia. Why discriminate in favour of Australians? Let's have some fairness here for the Pacifica community. So look, that's really all I've got to say this morning. The main message I've got here for this community, we're going to go really hard in this campaign. We're going to make sure every single voter in this electorate knows when they go into the polling booth, they've got a choice. They can vote for Labour, that's fine. If they want to vote for Labour, then vote for Ross Robertson. But give your party vote to Mana to bring activists, to bring fighters into Parliament. Yeah.